want to talk about a controversy now that's kind of befallen the Hindu community in India, especially. Adi, I know you can speak to this in a big way as an Andhra boy, right? As a Telugu guy. Tirumala, Tirupati, a huge temple, right? To Tirupati Balaji, the prashadam there, the Laddoos there. We have some poison Laddoos, guys, that have beef fat, which that is the most out-of-pocket shit imaginable. They've got beef fat, which is, okay, fish sauce or fish oil.
Fish sauce might have given it some umami, but no.
We don't want the umami in it. We want sweet Laddoos, okay? And lard as well. Yeah. Which to me is unthinkable. And look, here's the thing about Tirupati Balaji and what I call the SV temples, right? The Shri Venkateshwar temples, right? Yeah. Is, as far as I'm concerned, north to south, this is a pan-Hindu issue, right? There's a lot of people who like to be very regionalist about it. I'm a North Indian guy. But for me and my family growing up in central Pennsylvania, it was of the utmost importance that at least once a year, we had our own local Hindu, Radha Krishna temple or whatever it was, right? Sitaram, Radha Krishna, Hari temple that we had where I grew up near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But for my family growing up, it was of the utmost importance every year that we go and visit the Tirupati Balaji SV temple in Pittsburgh. I think that was the first one in the United States. Yeah. And we would every year we would take the 4.5 hour drive, spend a whole day there. Very important to us as a family, as a Hindu family.
Shout out their tamarind rice.
Shout out the tamarind rice, the yogurt rice, the lemon rice. I mean, incredible canteen, of course. We would come back with just stacks and stacks and stacks of these styrofoam containers filled with all the delicious canteen food that we would get there. And what was amazing about that temple is that it became its own little mini, not exactly a Tirumala, right? Because not all the other temples that sprouted up there were South Indian temples, but after that, a Hindu Jain temple popped up. After that, a Sai Baba temple popped up, and it became just a full-on pilgrimage site. Yeah. And that's the thing about Dharma, right? It is a pan-Indian, pan-South Asian phenomenon. Right? Yeah. Like you're going there to do all of it. It doesn't matter if they're speaking Tamil or Telugu or whatever it is. We're going there. We're showing our devotions, and receiving the darshana. You know what I mean? And it was so important. So it was important to me. I was shocked by it, and I don't know. I mean, the issue to me is it's a very complicated issue, right? Because it's immediately become politicized there. Yeah. Right? This government is now blaming the last government for doing it, right? The TDD, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, right? Is the corporation or organization that administers the temple, and they're very much controlled by the government of Andhra, right?
Or you could say, some might argue that TTD has a lot of say regardless of the government of Andhra.
Okay.
As well.
Either way, we see all the problems that come with governance in India in general, 100%. Right? Graft, incompetence, corruption. Basically, what is it? They skimped on the good ghee. The ghee from Karnataka, the Nandini ghee.
Yes.
And
they went for some crappy ghee.
They went for some shit ghee, basically. And what happens? It's dhrambrasht, you know what I mean? It was completely just totally out of pocket, and really something that is sacrilegious. And we don't talk about a sacrilege a lot as Hindus, but this is a sacrilege, right? Using any kind of animal fat that's made from the death of animals is a huge sacrilege, right?
I think the way I would at least see it is that, for me, who is a Hindu, depending on what they eat, it doesn't actually change their Hinduness, but to enforce or to essentially, con people into eating foods that are obviously not seen as holy.
Yes.
And on top of that, fats, so they're kind of hidden in there.
Exactly.
The idea of any of my family members who are vegetarian eating that, it breaks my heart.
Yeah, it really does, because and all of Tirumala is supposed to be a very strictly vegetarian city as well.
Completely vegetarian,
right? Completely vegetarian. Obviously, no alcohol, no tobacco. I can't be popping in there with the Zins. You know what I mean? If I'm going to do that seven hill hike, I got to go Zinless on that. You know. And to me, I guess my question is, and this is a broader question about Hindu temples in India, especially, is why does the government can't control any Hindu temple. It's a supposedly secular country, yet the only religious institutions which are controlled by the government are Hindu temples. And to me, it kind of speaks to that as a broader issue. Maybe we need to liberate the temples entirely and allow them to stay in the hands of private trusts of devotees. Now, I don't know how you feel about this.
I really don't know, because a lot of South Indian temples, and we're talking about like ancient temples here, right? Like it's an archaeologist's nightmare and blessing in a way, because we've been building upon these holy sites for God knows how long, right?
Millennia.
And what comes with that is a lot of treasure, and that's the word. Right? There's like the Padmanabha Swami temple has like treasures
upon treasures.
That's why there's soldiers with the AK-47s standing outside of it, right? Yeah. And likewise, Tirumala, I want to say, is the richest temple complex in India.
Yeah.
And see, this is where it gets complicated, and I don't know enough about governance in India, and I try to actually really know less and less as every day I get older. But Tirumala itself is like a city within Tirupati, right? So Tirumala is the city on top of the 7 hills.
Yes.
And so I can understand from that point why there might need to be a level of governance, right? Because you're running a town. There are restaurants and stores and people.
Yeah,
and
it is a municipality.
And then at the center of this is obviously the Balaji Murti that has humongous process around just doing darshanam.
Yeah.
There's an entire ticket system. It's super well organized. So,
but it does blur the lines between what is public and what is private, right? In terms of like a municipality and what it actually is. And so it's like, I to your point, I do see that point. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't have the solution for this. I don't know who does have the solution. Nobody clearly does, because it's still an ongoing controversy, right? First, they have to unpack all the shitty politics that are attending to all of this, right? The blaming the previous party and this and that and the other thing.
I would blame the previous party, though, personally.
Okay.
Because otherwise my grandma might disown me.
I don't know enough about the local politics of Andhra, the central government
not worth
there.
Getting into on this.
Yeah, it's not. We're not a political podcast anyway, but we do know that this is a great sacrilege. And look, it's, do better, guys. Do better. That's maybe all I can really say in a fair way.
This cannot ever fly.
This cannot ever fly. And that's really all I have to say. I wanted to talk about it because it is something that's happening, but it's an evolving situation as well, where we're trying to find out what the actual where the actual true culpabilities lie and where the actual solutions may rest as well. So that's all I kind of really have to say about that.